Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I am bringing you another money making method. This time around, to finish off all three of the 2008 season GT500 methods, I am bringing you the Nissan GTR GT500, obviously from 2008. A lot of people were recommending this car to me. Obviously I've covered the other two, being the Lexus and the Honda NSX. So it only seemed necessary to kind of, make a tune and obviously do a money method strategy on the Nissan GTR from 2008 as well. So that's exactly what I'm bringing you. So it's more of, I guess, a shorter video, because if you've ran one of these Group 2 cars before, they're pretty much all fairly similar. I did try and do a longer, pretty much zero stop strategy. However, it just felt far too sluggish and far too slow. So with all that being said, let's see how much this car actually costs to take part in this race, I guess. So as you can see, it is 1 million credits. So it's actually 200,000 more than the other two 2008 models. And I think it's 200k more than any of the other GT500 cars. So a bit of a strange one. I get, yes, it was successful, in real life. However, it's pretty much on par with the other two when it comes to its stats. So the 200,000 credit bump, I don't really see it necessary, to be honest. So if that's something that puts you off, just be aware. So this is the setup, and it is dot on 800 pp. You're going to run medium tyres. All of that left hand side you're not going to need to touch. The only other thing you're going to need to edit is the downforce to 600 at the front and 722 at the rear. No ballast needed. So the event, kind of obvious where you're going to run this. It's the Sardinia road track in Europe. And it's going to be the World Touring Car 800 pp event. Like I said, I'm going to put this in all my videos because we do seem to have more and more new players joining by the day, really. So welcome if you're new to Gran Turismo 7, by the way. So here's the strategy. We are going to run it on max power, and then we're going to basically just try and power through the field. Just a heads up, I know I say this in every video, but just be aware. Make sure if you are just grinding money, put the AR on easy and you won't have to worry about them, from then on. They're basically just rolling roadblocks, and you're going to work your way through them. Also, for your clean race bonus, the only time the game will take it off you is not from hitting the AI or whenever you're lapping and such. They're basically the only thing that will kind of remove that clean race bonus is if you overtake or such under yellow flags. Now, it's very rare you will get one. However, they can get put out at this event, especially when the AI in this game are quite clumsy. Especially on the lower difficulties, they're quite prone to kind of spinning each other out. Sometimes it does happen, especially when you're lapping. It's just a whole chance of that you're going to be getting to that part of the track when this accident happens. It's happened to me probably about 3 times over about 3 months I've had this event in the game now, something like that. So it's not very often it does happen, but just be aware if you see that little yellow flag icon or see the little marshals at the side of the track waving yellows, just do not overtake any car in front. That will decimate that clean race bonus. So pretty standard affair for this first lap. As you can see, we're just moving our way up the grid. We're running medium tyres. The strategy here is to hopefully get as much life on this first stint out of these medium tyres as possible. But you'll see a bit later on, I'm kind of known for pushing a car a little bit too much past its limits, and in the long run it kind of does cost me a bit. So here we go, lap 3. We are gonna overtake first place. At this point you don't need to worry about any of the AI. You should basically just run away from them now. At this point you have a massive speed advantage on both straights and the corners. On to lap 6. I told you I was keeping this one short because it's kind of obvious if you watch the other guides. I don't really need to go into much detail about the AI and such. Sometimes they're a little bit awkward, to say the least, but yeah, I don't need to say too much on them. I'm just going to assume the majority of you have basically ran this event or ran a Group 2 car at this event. Strategies do differ depending on cars. You're going to see a bunch of them pit in, and you want to turn your fuel down to power mix 6. This is when you've got around about 2 laps of fuel left. So we're keeping on, trucking with these medium tyres on. We're still running fuel mix 6, so the car's pretty good on fuel, to be honest, when you're running fuel mix 6. Like I said, I did try it over a long stint, zero stop strategy. However, it didn't really pay off. It was far too slow. And you're going to see here, I've just pushed the car maybe a little lap too to past its sort of tyre life, and it's kind of cost me, and I've just ended up in an absolute kerfuffle here. Not great for the overall time. There was actually, I made a couple of mistakes in this run, but I am kind of adjusting to using a wheel again. Now I've got a new setup. So here's what you're going to do. It's kind of up to you. If you want to kind of play it safe, pit at the end of lap 7. Again, I just pushed it maybe that little bit too, far, and was a bit too twitchy on the accelerator, but you can make these tyres last until around the end of lap 8. All I did was just box, put another set of mediums on because they're a very, very quick tyre for these cars. I believe they come on the car as standard as well, so you won't have to buy any other sets of tyres. I overfilled it and put it to full. However, you can fill up to that little notch on the fuel bar when you fill in, and then just be aware when you're coming out of the pits for AI absolutely thrashing it down that straight, because they will act like you don't exist. So I did a lap on fuel mix 6, and then as we go on to lap 10, I bumped it back up to 1, and we're just going to sprint to the finish now. Again, your tyres should last you pretty well now. You shouldn't feel too much of a drop off in performance. For me, I did make another mistake. I didn't put it in this video, or actually it felt like this video was just me making mistakes. That isn't really the case. It is a very capable car. It's just pretty much me getting used to, like I said, using wheel. Here's the AI coming out the pits. Just be careful, because if they do start going side by side, trust me, accidents do happen, and very often it'll be into that first corner. You'll just get punted off straight into the barrier. So that is basically going to be the strategy, really. So it's, do a longer stint, pit in, drop it to fuel mix 6 as you start getting into your fuel, just to kind of get a few more laps out, and then it is just 1 lap at fuel mix 6, and then absolutely thrash it, sprint from lap 10 to 15 to the finish, and you're going to see we're going to come in first. So the time won't actually do this car justice. Like I said, I made a few mistakes, and I'd say overall it cost me around about 40 seconds to maybe a minute. So it is possible to get into those 25 minutes with this car without mistakes. Very, very admirable, really. Not a really bad price point if you want to go cheaper than like the hybrid cars and some of the more one-off cars that we can kind of use for this event. I would 100% recommend this. However, for me personally, it's the weakest of the 2008 GT500 cars. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.